Like, because that's a hell of a fight.
Because, because I'm God.
Kanye West, a once Christian rapper, said this in his most recent interview.
But I have my issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So I had to put my experience in this world, my experience with my children, my experience with other people, my experience with my account, my experience with my brand, and my experience with the level of music that I was dealing with in my own hands. You know how many threats we've been dealt with? And I didn't pray my way through them threats either. I had to get up and do it myself.
Sometimes God's no's are the best yeses. The servant is not greater than his master. John 19:20. We are God's servants. We do not tell him what is good and what is not, because we don't know. We don't know what's good or what's evil. God knows better than us. Job didn't understand why he had to suffer so much, but in Job 38 and 39, God didn't tell him why. God asked Job, in Job's limited understanding, to trust him, knowing that God knows what's best for not just us, but everyone around us, and has done far greater things than we can imagine. He asks that of us today too. Not just Job or Kanye, but all of us can rest in knowing that sometimes when God tells us no, it's because he understands a lot more than we do.
I had so much to do, I ain't had time to pray. So that's where my issue is.
Now as Christians, I understand things can get busy. Between grades, school, your job, your family, there's a lot to cover. I know for me sometimes, like before bed, it's hard to pray. You're tired, you're exhausted, but you have to make time to. Just like you have to talk and call your friends or parents, you have to talk to God to know who he is, know what his personality is like. It's a relationship. Daniel went out of his way every day, praying in his prayer closet. He made time, no matter what the situation. So what I'm wondering is Kanye looking to God for a relationship? Or is he looking to God to fulfill what he wants? So that God can be some kind of magical genie to him for him to call on. You see, God is much, much more than that. God is God. And again, he knows so much, much more than me, than Kanye, and you.
So that's where my issue is, and look at where I'm at today.
We see where you're at today, Kanye, but it's not about today. What are people going to remember about you when you die? What are you leaving behind? What is your legacy? Matthew 7:16-20 says that we will know false prophets by their fruit. The truth is, we see Kanye's fruit, or legacy. So far, what Kanye has left behind is anti-Semitism, racism, and foolishness. He was on to something so good. He could have had peace. He could have had a real legacy, leading people, thousands of people, to Christ, to a life that doesn't end. You can have that too. And I truly, truly believe that today. That's what I want for you, and for Kanye, and everyone else around us. Because if not the saddest thing, one of the saddest things I can imagine is me going to heaven. I'm looking down, and Kanye's not up there, or you're not up there.
That's another thing I don't like in Christianity, the fear of God. Because you place one fear, you get another fear, you get another fear. What do you have at that point? You're easily controllable. You're easily sellable. You're easily contracted because you have this fear on you. Like, everybody gonna die eventually, but I'm gonna live my entire life with zero fear. Ain't nobody finna tell me, call me, tell nobody around me, play with nobody around me. Every label, every contract, any type of phone calls, we number one.
Actually, Kanye is completely wrong here. For just under 400 years after Jesus' death, Christians were persecuted, killed, Not just killed though, but hung upside down on crosses, eaten by lions, and put into colosseums, publicly shamed and beheaded. Yet they still fought on. Doesn't sound like they were very controlled to me. In fact, now that I think about it, the Bible tells us the complete opposite of be controlled by fear. Psalms 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Meaning we don't have to live in fear if we fear God. We don't have to be controlled by labels, as Kanye says, or contracts, or phone calls. Whatever that's supposed to mean. The point is, we fear and respect God, knowing He knows and does all things in the end, and punishes sin and evil. So we no longer have to fear. We just trust God with our fears as long as we hold fast to Him.
And I'm still alive every day.
How did you not so-called disappear? Like, because that's a hell of a fight.
Because I'm God. And anyone that disagree, I'm the God of me. And you can't tell me who I am. I can't tell y'all. I could tell y'all. It's y'all job to listen. I'm the God of me.
Wow. That last clip just really threw me off. I mean, but at least I can say he's honest. We live in a world where the majority believe this exact statement. They just call it something a little bit different. They say, my body, my choice, or my love is love. Let me live my life. You see, God isn't your God. God is God. In Genesis, He created you in His image. You don't create Him in your image. There's a way higher and bigger force here than just me or you. And ultimately, He decides. He decides what happens to Kanye. He decides what happens to me. And He decides what happens to you. And we accept that humility and joy. Because I know that there's a higher force that governs the universe. It's a force made of nothing but pure love. Something as humans never seem to get right. And I'm going to end with a short verse here. 1 John 4-8. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love.